Now we're going to make some gobi pakora. Now gobi is obviously cauliflower, and what we've done is we've cut it into florets. That's probably about 2/3 of a medium-sized cauliflower, and we've soaked them in water with turmeric to soak out any toxins or anything that might be in there from the growing process. Now I'm going to hand over to Swana, who's going to deftly make some pakora. So in the bowl here, we're putting besan, which is chickpea flour, ground chickpea flour, and maida, which is refined wheat flour, which has actually been made nice and white. What it does, it lightens up the chickpea flour, so you get lighter pakora. So we're going to do sort of proportions, roughly 50-50, but it's not rocket science, you can judge for yourself. What I believe she's going to do now is add some semolina, which over here is called rawa. This isn't necessary, but if you can get your hands on it, it does add a little something, adds a little crunch to the pakora when you cook them. So we've got the 3 flours in this bowl. Now there's no set proportion, you can see roughly the amount she's put in there, and this is going to make enough pakora for 3 of us, and we're all hungry eaters, so you'll just have to judge for yourself. On top of that, she's adding some baking powder. Probably there, I would say, was 1.5 tablespoons, and a little bit of turmeric. That adds a nice colour to the pakora, it gives them that nice golden colour when you fry them. And a little bit of chili powder. And don't worry too much about this, because as you cook them, some of the heat goes out of it because you're frying it. So it may look a large amount, but it's actually not. Well, it is, but it's not that hot. You see those those delicate little fingers are mixing those powders together. It's just skillful. Now what you're looking for is a mixture that's sort of not too thick, but it doesn't want to be too runny, because if it's too runny, the mixture will run off the cauliflower before you can fry it. So it has to be of a consistency that will stick to the cauliflower. And what we would do normally is mix this, what would you call it, batter I suppose, mix it up and then leave the cauliflower in it for sort of 20 minutes, half an hour.
Make sure that there are no lumps in the batter.
Yes. I was just about to say that, but youthful exuberance again preempted me. So now you see it's coming together, it's becoming a more liquidous, so it will coat nicely. You could actually do the walls with that quite nicely. So now what we're doing is we're adding cauliflower into the batter. We're going to mix it all in nicely, and then we're going to leave it to sit for 20-25 minutes just so we know that it's got into every nook and cranny, and then we'll come back and we'll fry it in this oil that we're gently heating up on the stove at this very moment. You can tell when the oil's hot enough, 2 ways of doing it. One, you can take a little bit of your mixture and drop it in, and if it starts to fry instantly and float, the oil's hot enough. But also, if you've had years of experience like myself, you can look at the surface of the oil and it changes its texture. You can see a sort of shimmer to it that wasn't there before, which will also tell you that you're hot enough. But I would suggest dropping a little bit of batter in and letting it float to the surface, and then you know you're at the right temperature. Right, so now we're going to start cooking this pakora. Now, if you watch this, see as she drops a little bit in, it starts to cook instantly and floats to the surface. That means you'll get a nice crispy pakora, because what it will do is it will seal the outside and it will go crispy. It will stop all the oil being absorbed in, which will give you a greasy, not particularly nice pakora. So anyway, we're ready to go with those. I'm going to remove this just so it doesn't make a burnt taste. Right. So if you see, she's rounding them in her hands and dropping them in one at a time. Now, the best thing to do is not put too many in the pan at once because you don't want them sticking together and everything. Plus, it will drop the heat of the oil. You want to keep it nice and hot. You can deep fry them if you've got a deep fryer or a chip pan or something like that. We're doing it in this pan, obviously, because of the restriction on the amount of oil we've got on everything, because we're in lockdown at the moment. So we're making the most of what we've got. But it's the same process, basically. Okay, so once they've started to brown, as you'll see, some parts of it are sticking out of the oil. You're going to have to turn them over because we're shallow frying. So I won't touch them now because Suanna gets all uppity if I touch her cooking. So I'm going to hand her the spatula and she's going to show you how to do it. So these have been cooking for about a minute and a half, 2 minutes on one side, and as you can see they're going golden brown. So Swen's is going to flip them over to make sure the other side's done. Probably in total 4 minutes, something like that, but you have to judge that for yourself. The cauliflower will be cooked through, and there's plenty of time to cook the cauliflower through. Now when you take them out, when they are ready, what you can do is put them on kitchen paper or newspaper to absorb some of the oil. We haven't got any, so we're not going to do that. But we're going to put them on one plate, and what I tend to do when I don't have any kitchen oil is put them on one plate until they've started to cool. Then I'll swap them onto another plate before I serve them, so you don't have a oily plate with them on. It doesn't look very nice. See, these are golden brown and crispy all over, so now we're just going to flip them onto a plate. Just leave them to sit just for a minute. You don't want to leave them for too long actually, because they tend to start getting soggy after a few minutes. You want to eat them when they're nice and hot and crisp. So prepare everything else first, like the rice, your dip and everything. Cook those and get them on the table while they're still nice and crisp and ready to go. And when she's finished, I'm just going to cut one open so you can see the inside. If you zoom in here, did you hear that nice crunch as it was cut? You see the cauliflower's cooked all the way through and the batter's stuck to it perfectly. There's no big air bubbles in there or anything like that. Okay, that's it.